hello there. I'm Mick Cornett along with Kent Meyers, and we're here for another edition of The Verdict. Every week we gather, talk to interesting people, and deal with topical issues. And boy, this one's topical. A lot of people are talking about online charter schools.
Online charter schools, and we have invited two folks from the Epic Charter School to come talk to us about their institution, what are their goals, what are their aspirations for the education of our kids, and I think you'll find this very interesting and unique.
It's all coming up today on The Verdict, and we'll be right back.
Soccer has been such an important part of my life. It's been my life for 18 years. It was an amazing experience to be a part of the Big 12 championship team in 2017 with the OSU Cowgirls. And looking back, it's one of the best things that has happened to me. I'm Lana Duke, I'm a medical student, and I'm Chickasaw. There is a need for physicians in rural and underserved areas of Oklahoma, and that's where my heart is. I definitely want to stay here and practice in Oklahoma and give back to the community that has given me so much. And I want to make my family proud, and Chickasaws proud too, and ultimately make other people have healthier, happier lives is what I really set out to do.
See more stories about the Chickasaw people at profilesofanation.com.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Meyers, and Kent's going to introduce today's guests.
As we indicated in the opening, we have two guests today from the Epic Charter Schools. I'll introduce first Shelly Hickman. Shelly is the Assistant Superintendent at Epic Charter. She has a strong journalism background. She did her undergraduate work at Auburn University, did her master's degree work at UCO. She has had a 25-year career in journalism before she became involved with Epic Charter Schools. She was a managing editor of a newspaper that we remember, and I bet you do too, the Oklahoma Gazette. She also was communications director for the Norman Public Schools. Our other guest is Bart Banfield. Bart is the Assistant Superintendent of Instruction at Epic Charter Schools. He's been there about 5 years. He had a 20-year career in education, in public education. He has spoken throughout the United States and in education seminars and the like about charter schools and other education topics. And we are sure glad to have both of you here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Shelly, Bart, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning. What is a charter school, and then what's the distinction between an online charter school?
Well, a charter school is a public school, and that's something that a lot of people don't understand, but we are a public school that are free from certain regulatory requirements. Nothing financial or accountability. We still have to follow most of the state and federal laws that any public school has to follow, but we're exempt from certain things, like we don't have to collective bargain. We are able to, our school board is not an elected school board, it's an appointed school board because we don't have a bonding or an elective district for it to be an elected position. So there's a couple of differences like that, but we are a public school that follow most of the state and federal laws that apply to any public school.
And you're an online charter school, so what's that distinction?
Well, we like to think of ourselves, and Bart can talk more about our instructional model, but we like to think of ourselves as a blended learning model. We actually operate a small school in California, and we're not even considered by the laws in California to be a virtual school, because we pair digital curriculum with face-to-face and regular online, regular face-to-face and physical instruction with a certified teacher. So unlike some virtual schools, we have a teaching force that has a roster size of about 30 students, and they're meeting with those students regularly one-on-one. They're interacting with them daily through Skype or Zoom or Google Hangouts, text, phone, and providing and facilitating instruction. So it's not a pure online model, and we think that's part of the reason why we've had such growth and there's such popularity in our model.
Well, you said something in the answer first that I think myself and perhaps others that watch would have been confused about. I would have thought in the abstract that Epic Charter School was a private school, was not a public school. Right. But you straightened us out on that right quick. You are indeed a public school. You have to follow the same kinds of general regulations that other public schools follow, but you don't necessarily get public funds.
No, we do.
You do get public funds.
We just don't get all public funds.
Right.
We get state and federal funding, but we don't get the local ad valorem funding, which is somewhere between, depending on the ad valorem richness of a school district, I think on average about 30% of a traditional school district's funding is going to be from the local ad valorem. We do not get that.
Bart, how does the curriculum differ, if it does, from what we generally typically talk about the neighboring public school in whatever part of the state that we live?
Yeah, I think probably what we do well is we individualize the instruction for each one of our students, and we do that by harnessing the power and the potential of technology, utilizing these 21st century tools, software, hardware, and coupling that to make sure that each child's education is customized. I think, I spent 16 years in traditional brick and mortar schools, everything from a teacher to a coach to a principal to a superintendent. I think the challenge in that model, at least that I had, was putting 25 to 30 kids into a classroom. And we know that all children are unique and they're at different levels. And so in many cases, you would come into the classroom that has students that are on maybe 5 different learning levels. A lot of the kids are below grade level. Some of the kids are on grade level. And then we also had students that were above grade level. And it's really difficult in a traditional brick and mortar setting to individualize and to target. And so in our model, by utilizing 21st century tools and resources, we're able to make good on the potential to individualize instruction and customize it for each individual child.
Talk to us a little bit about the grades that you cover. I was a little surprised to see that you start with the pre-K.
Right.
Can you carry that through?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we do that is a little bit unique is that we empower families by creating partnerships with parents and students, and that starts at the pre-K level, so from 4-year-olds all the way up. And what we try to do is we try to customize a plan that fits that child. One of the first things we do as a child enrolls at Epic Charter Schools is we do a multiple intelligence test. So we try to figure out where that student is at, how they like to learn, and then in conversations with the family, what we're able to do is to put together a plan of success to get that child from where they are to ultimately where their parent wants them to be.
Let me follow up on that just a minute. How do you actually physically administer that test, for instance, to a pre-K student?
Right.
Do you do it in their home?
Yes.
Do you do it online?
Yeah, the very first thing we do is set up a meeting with the family once they've enrolled, and then we'll go to them. And in most cases, it occurs in a home, but we can also meet in public places, but we'll sit down with the parent and with the student.
And who do you send?
Who's
teacher, your representative?
The teacher. All of our teachers are certified teachers, and they will, that's another unique point about the model, is that the parent they pick their teacher. So once they enroll, they can pick a teacher that is certified in early childhood. They can pick a teacher that's certified in middle school history. And so whatever they're looking for, our model is about empowerment. It's about creating options and choices for families, and so they'll meet, sit down, and part of what they do is that multiple intelligence test. Part of what they do is to sit down and determine what type of curriculum that they would like to use for the year. Are they going to need hardware? If they do, they can lease a laptop through our Learning Fund or an iPad, tablet, computer. We also have Wi-Fi that is available for all of our students, and so it's a really unique model that's built on a partnership between the family and the school.
The technology that's involved in all this must be quite elaborate. Is it evolving on a daily or at least yearly basis?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we feel like gives us a competitive edge, is that we are constantly searching for new technologies and resources that are out there. These 21st century tools that students are utilizing. I mean, if you look in a student's backpack, typically you'll find a laptop. If you look in their pocket, typically you'll find a smartphone. So these students are already using these tools and resources. It's just now public schools are starting to catch up to it.
Shelly, how do parents find EPIC? Is it word of mouth, or do you market in ways that might be just more market oriented and traditional advertising?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, we have now we have 24,000 students statewide. We have students and faculty in all 77 counties. So we do believe that the growth has, a lot of that is attributed to word of mouth. When a family finds success at EPIC and they talk to their friends and neighbors about it, there's an exponential effect to that. But we do engage in some marketing, certainly not to the extent that some of our critics have thought that we do. We do a little bit of social media, but we don't believe that the marketing is really contributing to the growth. We think that there are a lot of parents out there who maybe they're worried about bullying, maybe they have a child on the autism spectrum. There's various reasons why that traditional school model may not be working for their family, but through some of our marketing methods, they become aware of us. But we don't believe that they're coming to us because of the marketing. It's more, oh, I might go and research that school. Maybe that's the school that my child needs. And they might be coming to us from that way, but we don't believe that a parent makes such a consequential decision about where their child's going to go based upon the marketing. It's just building more awareness for the school.
Now, the state defines a charter school as a district, no matter how large it is. So 24,000 students, where do you rank? I'm guessing 4th, 5th, 6th in the state largest
Currently
district? 5th, okay. We'll get back with more. Shelly Hickman and Bart Banfield are here. We're discussing EPIC charter schools on The Verdict.
OU Law has a history and heritage that are unparalleled. At the University of Oklahoma College of Law, we empower our students to pursue the career of their dreams. We have the highest U.S. News ranking ever achieved by an Oklahoma law school. We are the first law school in the country to launch a college-wide digital initiative. And this year, our competition teams rank number 2 in the nation. OU Law, generations of excellence, limitless possibilities.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. We're learning more about EPIC charter schools today.
Shelley, in some of the information I looked at on your website, there was an indication that this service is free to the student.
Absolutely.
Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. We, like any public school, we are free. There is no charge to the families, even if they need a computer or a Wi-Fi in the home. Everything is provided for the student that they need to be successful academically, and just like any public school, everything is free.
In a traditional school, a kid gets one teacher in pre-K, probably a different teacher in kindergarten, a different teacher in first grade, and Epic works on a different model.
Yes, with our teachers at Epic, they loop. It's an educational term with the family. So year to year, that teacher matriculates with the student. Unless for some reason the family decides that they want a change of teacher, the teacher that starts with the student is the same teacher they will have until they graduate. And that really allows our faculty to form deep, meaningful relationships with the family. I know back in the dinosaur age when I was in high school, our principal looped with our class from 7th grade all the way through graduation. And the person that my graduating class was the closest to, and the day he died, over 100 of us were at his funeral, was our principal. And so we do believe that the looping aspect of our school is something that is very attractive to parents.
You know, from a business model, it's easy to see how you could provide facilities in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, but if a kid lives in Hollis or Boise City or Miami, how do you deliver services to them?
It's a great question. Every single child at Epic Charter Schools receives what's going to be next year a $1,000 learning fund, which is a virtual credit that they can utilize to purchase hardware, whether that's a laptop, whether that is a tablet. They also have the opportunity to choose the curriculum. We have a variety of curriculum to choose from to meet different learning styles. Some of our kids are more visual in the way they like to learn. Some are more auditory, others are kinesthetic and hands-on learning. And so what we do at that ILP meeting, which is the initial meeting between the teacher, the parent, and the student, is we sit down and we begin to put together a plan in terms of where we're going to allocate that $1,000 virtual credit for students to be able to get maximum benefit from those tax dollars. And what ends up happening inevitably is a lot of times our students will have monies that are left over in terms of that virtual credit that they can then apply towards extracurriculars, whether that be an art class or karate, or there's all kinds of extracurriculars that are available that our students have to choose from.
Bart, how do you judge success? What are the metrics that you guys look at to determine whether or not you're doing a good job at this?
Yeah, growth. And I'm glad you asked that, because we monitor growth on a weekly basis at Epic Charter Schools. We benchmark our students on a quarterly basis. Obviously, because we're a public school, our students take SATE tests in the spring and April. So we have a variety of benchmarks coupled with what the Oklahoma State Department of Education requires us to do to be able to quantify success.
And I want to qualify academic growth. He's talking about growth academically.
Yes.
And a lot of our students...
Not in population.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And when we benchmark those students, when they come in, so we can see exactly where they are, our data is telling us about 70% of the students who are coming to us are one or more grade levels behind. So success may not look like total proficiency in 1 year, but it may look like we're closing the gap on them being being below grade level in that academic year.
The typical public school that I recall was 9 months in duration, and then 3 months off during the summer. What is your schedule?
Ours is year-round. Our students and teachers are working year-round. Now, students that are on grade level can keep with a traditional calendar, but our students that are below grade level, and as Shelly mentioned, 7 out of 10 students that come to Epic Charter Schools come to us below grade level. Those students will continue to work throughout the summer with their teacher to bring them on grade level with their peers.
There's certain aspects to an education that some people take for granted. I mean, there's sports, there's chorus, there's a graduation ceremony.
Right.
What does Epic offer and beyond, that would gather more than one student together in some sort of social interaction?
Well, I mean, it's happening. We do have graduation ceremonies where, in fact, our graduating class is so large this year we could not hold a graduation ceremony in one facility. So we will be having a graduation ceremony on June 1st at the Cox Convention Center in Oklahoma City, And then a week later, we will be having another graduation ceremony at the Mabee Center here in Tulsa. We also have a prom. We have student government. We have National Honor Society. Our teachers get their students together. A teacher may have, say, 3 or 4 7th graders, and so she may be, or he may be doing direct instruction with those 7th graders. But we also have a lot of organic connection in that our parents, almost like these organic PTAs,
Yes.
form in the communities where we are, and they have meetups with the students. And a lot of our students are already involved in extracurricular activities and maybe came to us because that activity, be it rodeo, ice skating, baseball, soccer, we even have a stock car racer,
Yes.
where they're competing maybe, say, Thursday through Sunday,
Right.
and they need a flexible schedule where they can get all of their schoolwork done Monday through Wednesday so they can compete and pursue their passions in their spare time. So,
And can I add one more thing to that?
Sure.
We have a website at www.epiccharterschools.org, and it is chock full of stories, student stories, teachers, and all you would want to know about Epic Charter Schools. And so anybody that's listening or watching, we would encourage them to log on to our website.
Mick will redo that in the final segment of the show, and it'll
Great.
come up on the screen for the folks to write it down if they want. But
Absolutely.
we intend to show that website.
Great.
Talk a little bit about your teachers. What kind of requirements do the teachers have to fulfill to be able to be teachers? And when you get around to it, what kind of compensation do they receive?
Sure. I'll talk on the teacher part and let you discuss the
Absolutely.
compensation
Go for
piece.
it.
So
Okay.
all of our teachers are certified teachers. I think currently we have over 700 teachers spread out throughout the state of Oklahoma in all 77 counties. And they are some of the most talented teachers in our great state. And so we continue, because of our compensation, because of the flexibility and the autonomy that EPIC provides, we continue to attract some of the very best educators from all over. But I'll let you touch on the compensation piece.
Well, a lot of people ask us that question about compensation because our teachers are the highest paid in Oklahoma and they're the highest paid in the surrounding region. Our average salary is around $63,000 for a teacher. And a lot of our brick and mortar, counterparts are like, how in the world can you afford to pay a teacher that type of money? And it's because we don't have a traditional hierarchical model in our organization. In a traditional brick and mortar, the superintendent makes the most amount of money, and then it's your central office staff, and then your principals, and it trickles down to your faculty. We almost have an inverted model. A lot of our faculty are making more than the principal who supervises them. Some of our principals are making more money than the managing director of instruction who supervises them, because we have a performance pay model where half of your salary is a base compensation and the other half is based upon results that are tied to student achievement, to student attendance, and retention. And we have a very, very high teacher retention rate, higher than most school districts. And so it's a model that's very attractive to a teacher. We think the type of teachers that we're attracting were probably those teachers who stayed late and were the ones who were walking out into the parking lot at dusk. But the difference for them was they were getting paid exactly the same amount of money as that faculty member who left right at 3:15 every day. Right. And so we reward performance, whether that is faculty, principal, or at the top. But that's how we're able to do it.
Shelly Hickman and Bart Banfield, thanks so much for coming on the
Absolutely.
show.
It's
and-
been a
and-
fast
and
show.
Talking
Thank
more
you.
about
Yeah.
Epic Charter Schools and online charter schools
Absolutely.
in general.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we
you.
wish you luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Kent and I'll have a final word when we get back.
It used to be okay in teachers' lounges. It used to be okay in maternity wards. It was okay in sporting arenas, college campuses, and office spaces. But now that we understand the deadly dangers of secondhand smoke, that's not okay anymore. So why is it okay that thousands of employees are exposed to it every day at work? Bottom line, it's not okay. Let's protect hardworking Oklahomans. Join the fight at stopswithme.com.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
You will always be mom and dad to me.
We are a very conservative family, and we believe in old-fashioned family values. We have a loving home there, and we love kids, and we have 5, 6 of our own. But I had no idea we were going to go into adoption, but it's been very gratifying.
You will always be mom and dad to me.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Meyers, and we spent the last half hour talking about Epic Charter Schools.
Yes, and in order to give, if you will, equal time to the public schools, we will in 2 weeks have another show about this topic with some folks from the public school sector, the OEA, and a superintendent. So you'll get, if you watch both shows, you'll have a good balance of information from which to make any decisions you might be thinking about.
You know, our legislators kind of went the charter school route a few years back with the idea of empowering parents,
yes,
giving parents choices. But I don't know that anyone at that time thought there'd be a charter school with 24,000 kids.
No.
Just one. I mean, there's a lot of charter schools,
yeah,
but one of them has 24,000 and is growing rapidly.
Yes.
So they've obviously, tapped into something that's very marketable and is doing well. And I think there's probably something for both sides to learn on this. Let me give you some website information. As they mentioned, the website for Epic Charter School is epiccharterschools.org. And we have a website. I'd love for you to log on and tell us about a show or a subject matter you'd like to see us discuss, theverdict.tv. And once again, in 2 weeks, we'll have another show on this topic of online charter schools, and we'll probably get some varying viewpoints from that group on whether or not Epic Charter Schools is delivering the level of education that the charter school advocates would like them to deliver. So we'll see all that then. For Kent Meyers, I'm Mick Cornett. We'll see you next time on The Verdict.